Hey, I'm Claire,
And I'm Janice.
and this is The X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
We are breakup coaches here to help you beat your breakup
Heal your broken heart.
and move on to an amazing, abundant life. Hello, and welcome to another episode of X-Files podcast. We are so glad that you are here. We love our listeners.
Welcome.
Yes, how are you doing this Friday, Claire?
I'm doing quite well. How are you?
I'm great. The sun is out. It's been a wonderful week for
Yeah.
the podcast, and I'm really excited to
Oh.
cover today's topic,
Woo.
which is why do I only think about the good times?
Yes, we've gotten this question multiple times.
Yep.
It's definitely a popular one, and spoiler, but it's normal, but we'll cover that.
Right. Yeah, it is confusing. You've
Mhm.
just broken up, and a lot of breakups are not amicable, and so
Yeah.
it can be confusing to understand, why am I going back to these thoughts? So we are going to tell you why you're going back to these thoughts and how to cope with this common breakup dynamic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because you don't usually break up because everything's going super great,
Right.
unless it's out of the blue, as it can sometimes be.
Mhm.
But, for one person at least, things were
Yeah.
not going well.
So we're going to go through some of the reasons why this happens. So first of all, having your mind go automatically to memories of the good times is how your system, and by that I mean your body, or your body mind, okay,
Maddie.
your body mind connection makes sense of the pain that you're feeling. So it can be confusing and frustrating to make sense of why you're feeling pain, even though the relationship wasn't meant to work out.
Mhm,
So intellectually, it doesn't make sense.
mhm,
Our subconscious tells us that things really were wonderful.
mhm.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be hurting, right? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Why
Yeah,
are you breaking up? You have all these beautiful memories.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You just, when you're in so much pain, your mind automatically tries to rationalize it.
Exactly.
One of my big things is that you're not really in control of the thoughts that your brain has.
Mhm.
They're just like throwing spaghetti at a wall, seeing what sticks. So
Mhm.
these thoughts that you're feeling are your mind trying to give you the lesson, because your mind wants you to survive and not get injured, and heartbreak is processed as an injury. So
Yes. Oh, that's a good point. And because we often like to bring in our own experience, I really want everyone to know that I went through this after leaving an abuser. The months leading up to the final physical assault that made me leave for good were a living hell. Every day was awful, really.
no.
I don't know what this stage is, but there's some, different stages in the cycle of abuse. And this was definitely the, like just dreading another day stage.
Mm.
And after the adrenaline of leaving wore off, which is another common dynamic, you get this rush of adrenaline when you leave. But when it wears off, you can have this really weird, confusing come down. And I did. It was physical and mental anguish.
Oh.
And I didn't know why I'd be struggling with these feelings based on what had happened. Months of hell, a lot of physical abuse. So before long, what was I doing? Looking at the photos, remembering, the good times, the first time that we said we loved each other, which was cinematic, traveling around Germany together. We made love in castle ruins at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. There were these really amazing moments, and I was thinking about all of this.
Yeah.
So before long, I had this idea in my head of what a beautiful love story. This breakup is so tragic. And
No.
yeah, I was getting into this same loop. I was making sense of why it was hard for me to get over this.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally pulled myself out of it by getting support from a group of female survivors, which I highly recommend. And I just want everyone to know that I really know how real this dynamic can be of having these thoughts just go through your mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of the assaults, the extreme verbal abuse. It was all just the happy memories.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And that's, that's an extreme example. Not every breakup is from an abusive
Mhm.
situation,
Yeah.
but just to show how powerful this effect can be
Yeah,
in
that's what
that,
I'm saying.
you're not crazy. Like this
Mhm.
is something that happens to everyone, no matter how bad the relationship
Right.
was and
Right.
dangerous.
Mhm.
Um,
So if
yeah.
your relationship wasn't as bad as this, you could definitely be doing the same thing
Mhm.
and then wondering why. I mean, there wasn't abuse in my relationship, why am I stuck in this pattern?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
The bar should be higher than that. But
Right.
let's put the bar higher, ladies.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah,
But you know
yeah.
what? It's not
Still,
always. It's
yeah,
not always.
exactly. So part of the reasons why this may be happening is a term called fading affect bias or FAB. According to
Is
applied
it fab?
cognitive fab, it just fab. It's just fabulous.
Oh, let's hear
Um
about it.
so, according to applied cognitive psychology, FAB refers to the finding that the intensity of negative autobiographical memories fades faster than those associated positively. So, you forget negative things faster than you
Exactly.
forget positive things. So your negative memories in your situation of the abuse faded a lot quicker than the positive memories. And this is a good
Wow.
thing. Psychologists believe that this exists so that we can keep a positive outlook on life because otherwise we'd just be
Yeah.
super depressed all the time. It's good
Yeah,
to
these things,
let negative
right.
memories go, but
Yeah.
it kind of backfires a little bit in breakups.
Needing to separate yourself from someone. This is so fascinating to me. I guess
Yeah.
it's evolutionary in a way. If
Yeah.
we dwelled on the very dark memories,
Exactly.
in a
Yeah.
way it could, kind of eat us alive.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
love it.
think about it with I know you do a lot of birth work, but if people
Mhm.
remembered
Yep. Mhm.
like perfectly how painful giving birth is, do
Mhm.
you think they'd
Uh-huh.
have other children? Probably not. They'd be
Right.
like, "Nope, done that. It's
Mhm.
good." But, your
Yes.
brain is like, "No, we'll just tuck that away and
Uh-huh.
keep you from that trauma."
Yep. And it
So,
also goes back
yeah.
to the chemicals because after a birthing parent gives birth, you have like an extreme rush of the feel goods.
Yeah.
And that probably also helps you to remember, the happy
Yeah.
moments
Yeah.
better of holding the
Oh,
child rather
totally.
than what had happened in the,
Well,
8
yeah.
hours before.
Oh God.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, very good correlation as well. So let's go on to another reason why you might be just remembering the good times.
Feeling the
All
good
right.
feels.
One reason is that you might still be in the honeymoon period of the relationship. I love talking about this.
Mhm.
So breakups hurt regardless of when they happen. But if your relationship was 2 years long or shorter, you might just still be feeling this new relationship energy, or
NRE.
NRE, as a recent guest Jesse turned us on to.
Yeah.
So, many psychologists, including the late Dr. Dorothy Tanav, have studied couples and found that this romantic obsession phase actually lasts for an average of 2 years.
Yeah.
So, this is this in love, new relationship energy that you feel with someone when you crave them. You think about them all the time. You
Mhm.
can't see their flaws that other people see. You're having
Mhm.
sex all of the time. You are daydreaming about your perfect future together. So even if it hasn't worked out, these vibes might still be there, and you could still be idealizing the person and the future you thought you'd have.
Yeah. Your brain goes there automatically. It's normal. It's all normal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Once again, let's bring up the issue of dopamine during breakups.
Mm-hmm.
It's important, so it's
Yep.
worth being repeated. If something's
Yep.
repeated, it's probably important. So,
Yes,
uh,
listeners, take
yeah,
note.
yes. So, when you're in a romantic relationship with someone, you're creating a chemical bond with that person and reward pathways in your brain. And in a way, this is healthy, as this is what makes people want to stay together and, in some cases, have families
Right.
or just
Mhm.
give each other the companionship that humans need. But on the shadow side of things, it means that when the relationship does not work out, this chemical connection can be very painful and very hard to break.
Yep. So, what do you do? Similar to the way that texting and looking at their social media accounts gives you that tiny but satisfying burst of
Mhm.
the feel goods, dwelling
Mhm.
on the good times can ease your need to be in touch with them. It might not help as much as, yeah, sending them a text, but this will give you the little shot of dopamine.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
also, what feels better to your body? Like we said earlier, thinking of the yucky memories and all of the fights that you had, or, the fact that they never hung up their towel or
Yeah.
helped you with the laundry or all of the many other little things that bug you, or the blissful times, when you got lost in each other's arms, or like I said, the cinematic first time that you told each other you loved one another.
Mhm.
Yeah, your body would probably much rather think of the good stuff.
Yeah.
So this reason that you're still thinking about the good times is a matter of reprogramming. And you can definitely pull yourself out of this, and we will get into it later in the episode.
Awesome. Yeah. Another reason you may be defaulting to the happy memories is that many relationships have a certain level of regret tied to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Regret is such a powerful emotion, and it can be very hard to put it behind you.
Mhm.
Wishing you had done things differently, or that things had been different, or simply just being aware that it started out well and then
Mhm.
ended poorly. It can just eat away at you. And the source of regret in breakups is often that that there were good times.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It does.
And, somehow you weren't able to make those good times continue. And that
Mhm.
may not be your fault, but
Right.
it still leads to some regret.
Mhm.
So, having regret is a really normal part of the initial months of a breakup. So, if you're struggling with the good memories, one thing that will help is to tell yourself that this is normal and many people experience this. Remind yourself that uh, people have been where you are, and that if you commit to your healing, it will pass.
Absolutely. If you were able to go through a breakup and not have these feelings and not have regret, you would be a very closed off human being.
Yeah.
I know. And I don't think that that's necessarily that healthy of a way
No.
to deal with a breakup either. I mean,
Yeah.
this
This is
are
how we
processing
learn.
it. Yeah.
This is how we learn. Like we mentioned earlier, like your brain wants you to avoid injury,
Hmm.
and regret is a type of injury. So
Hmm.
if you can learn from that regret, then you can possibly avoid being injured in that way in the future. The trick is
Yeah.
is that sometimes the regret isn't about something that we could have controlled. So you have to differentiate and use, the
Yeah.
non-lizard part of your
Hmm.
brain to
Yeah.
to sort through those things.
Yep, good
Yeah.
points. So those are some of the reasons it happens. And just to get back to the point that it happens to most people who go through breakups.
Hmm.
And the good news is there are ways to get out of these thought patterns. So
Woo!
yes, it's normal, but you can also speed up the healing with some
Hmm.
of our great coaching tips.
All right. So, first of all, it's okay to think about these things.
Yeah.
Just know it's okay. It was real. It was good at one point. I use this food expiration analogy a lot, but it's like, the apple before it expired. It was a great apple. You love these apples, but once it starts getting rotten in the middle and aging past its expiration date, that shit will poison you. Don't keep eating it. So,
Yep.
You
I
can
compare
remember
it
the
to the
apple.
cream cheese, which I very
Yes.
rarely get, but I had leftover cream cheese in my freezer from the holiday, and I actually opened it up, and because I used so little of it, I enjoyed it the few times that I did. But yeah, after one of our last episodes when we mentioned it, I opened it up and it was like, oh, story's over, time to throw
No,
it away.
this is not good anymore. Nice.
And yeah, very true, because I always say that cream cheese is my Achilles heel, and that's why I
Mm.
very rarely have it. And yeah, I loved it the few times I enjoyed it, but
Ooh,
yeah, when it goes bad,
it's bad.
I got to get it out of the house. All right. So let's talk about rumination versus introspection. All right. So rumination is beating yourself up. It is repetitive. It doesn't evolve. It leaves you feeling stuck and really shitty. This is definitely an issue for me. If I ever have kind of an interpersonal conflict with someone, I get trapped, in the repetitive thoughts. So, yep,
Mhm.
I know how powerful this is. So, on the other hand, introspection is learning from the past, allowing yourself to have the aha moments. This is what helps you to move on. So when
Yeah.
you're thinking of the good times, throw in some of the other stuff that happened and let yourself realize, oh, right, that's why we're now not together anymore. How do you shift into introspection? Notice that you're thinking about the past. Ask what you are getting from the experience of thinking about the past. That is a really key one. Asking yourself why you're doing this can get you out of
Yeah.
the cycle.
Yeah.
So look for the reason, notice if it is a pattern, and then also, when do you find yourself in these loops? For
Mhm.
me, for some reason, I think about these things in the mornings. And so I'm always really quick to catch myself and, yeah, switch gears.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a big thing. I think the feeling you have while you're thinking these things is going to be key as well. If you're
Mm-hmm.
feeling like you're out of control, like you can't stop these things, you're probably in rumination.
Right.
But if you're almost just a little bit emotionally detached, like you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at it from afar and you're not getting like so invested in the story
Okay.
repetition,
Mm-hmm.
then you're probably in introspection, and that's when those aha moments come. You're just like, you're able to look at it as if it's some like a storyline that you've seen instead of
Right. Like
something that you experienced viscerally.
instead of thinking, I wish I would have done this, you could catch yourself thinking about the good times and then think to yourself, okay, I'm going to switch gears and I'm going to think about what I might do differently in the future.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Or maybe the red flags that I could have seen
Yeah.
sooner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
red
Okay.
flags is a big
Mhm.
one where you're just like, "Oh, I remember that conversation now. What do you know? That was
Mhm.
a red flag." And it's more like, "Oh," instead of like, "That was
Right.
a red flag." Ah!
Mhm.
So it's a different feeling.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So trying sometimes when you're thinking the good about all the good things and you're
Mhm.
stuck in that, you can overcompensate by trying to just be like, no, don't think about the good times, only see the bad times, only focus on all the shitty things that they did, all the ways that they weren't right for you, only think about those things, don't think about the good things. But like, there's no right or wrong way to do this. And
Mhm.
that sort of black and white, all or nothing thinking is going to just make you feel shame and make this whole thing so much harder for you.
Yeah.
Um, I'm learning a lot about mindfulness and meditation. And this is a big thing with meditation is people assume, oh, I'm supposed to be in a cave absent of thought. Like I'm
Mhm.
supposed to just sit here and keep my mind blank. But you can't stop your brain from thinking things.
Right.
Just
Very
like,
big misconception about
yeah, you
mhm.
can't stop it, just like you can't stop your heart from beating. And that's a really
Mhm.
good thing.
Mhm.
Because,
Right.
if you could stop your brain from thinking thoughts, how do you stop not thinking thoughts? I mean, anyway. but
I understand what you're saying.
yeah, you're gonna get stuck. So, be gentle with yourself. Like the good times are going to come into your awareness, and you can just be like, okay, those were the good times. And there were also bad times. Like, and just accept that both can exist at the same time.
Yes, and this is relationships. Many of us go through many of them in our lifetime, and
Mhm.
there's good and bad, and it'll help you in your future relationships to understand that. I
Exactly.
mean, I
Yeah.
went through something when I left living overseas. There was all of this fallout. And so for me to make sense of the pain I was feeling, I kind of made myself dwell on all of the negatives and all of the what should I
Mhm.
have done. And like you're saying, it did lead to some shame. And yeah, it wasn't that useful. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. I mean, there's this
Mhm,
quote from Brene Brown
mhm.
where it goes, if you put shame in a petri dish, it needs three ingredients to grow exponentially: secrecy, silence, and judgment.
Mhm.
If you put the same amount of shame in the petri dish and douse it with empathy, it can't survive. So this is the action you need to take, is when the good things come into your brain, or if the bad things come into your brain, you douse it with empathy instead of judging yourself for having these thoughts.
Love it.
You're just like, wow, I'm a human and I had experiences. Some of them were good, some of them were bad, and I remember both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I love having sympathy for, your past self or yourself
exactly.
that was in the relationship.
Yeah,
And yeah, I love that. And kind of separating the two. I think that's beautiful. Yep.
yeah. Another way to think about it is the diet analogy.
All right.
And there's a technical term, because I love a technical term.
Yeah,
It's
I guess you
called
do. This is your second one of the
I know,
episode.
my second of the episode.
We got fab and ipta.
Or ironic process theory. Ironic process theory, ironic rebound, or the white bear problem
I love this.
refers to the psychological process where deliberate attempts to suppress certain thoughts make them more likely to surface. If I
Yes.
tell you right now, don't think about a white bear, what are you thinking about?
A
A
cute
white
white
bear.
bear
Cute little polar
and
bear.
white snow.
And white snow
Yeah.
in the zoo. You are absolutely unable to prevent yourself from thinking of a white bear. So if
Mhm.
you say, don't think about the good times, you're going to think about the good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why we often suggest that people use a healthy distraction during this time, with the walks, with the movie nights,
Hmm.
with the yoga, with the crafts, is
Exactly.
because sometimes you really just need to distract yourself and get out of the cycle, get out of your head, like people like to say.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I actually once in a while get into this habit of having Cheerios before I go to sleep.
Oh, I love that.
And but it's not, so it's there's worse things to want, but
Yeah.
once in a while it is, like certain time of night it gets in my head and I say don't think about Cheerios.
Yep.
It's the only thing I can think about, and that's what makes me need it before I sleep, because I'm
Yeah.
laying there trying to sleep and
And
it's
you're like, I
Cheerios.
just really want Cheerios right now. Yes. It's so funny.
Oh, all right, so and our last tip for dealing with this common pattern of thinking about the good times is, make it easier to, yes, think about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even on your radar. So, everything that Claire just said, totally true. But it is good to be able to remember why the breakup happened.
Yes.
So, when you get hit with, this wave of nostalgia, it helps to have this handy list ready of all the reasons it ended. I
Hmm.
love this so much because it was so powerful in almost all of my breakups. So what we want you to do is write out every reason, big and small, in either the notes on your phone or in a special notebook. I'm a handwriting person. I think you
Hmm.
prefer your phone, but for me, just keeping something handy, and whenever it comes to you, writing it down. And
Yeah.
then when you start feeling the good feels, the nostalgia, the happy memories, and, wondering why you've ended up here, read it. So it
Yeah.
will help to balance out all of the good and bad and give you some relief. I found this just as powerful in my 7-year relationship as I did in a 6-month relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? People might not believe this, but it can actually be a little fun. Once you really decide that you're going to commit to writing this list of 10, 50, 100 things, you kind of make this game of it. I just
Yeah.
realized as I'm saying this that you can actually have fun with this. You
Yeah,
might not believe it, but
exactly.
get started.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, but I made a list after my last breakup, and I was so annoyed that he didn't do his laundry. Not that he wouldn't help with laundry, but that he would actually re-wear things. And I always bring that up because it might seem kind of small, but when it came to my mind, I was like, that was so annoying and gross.
And
I
that's so
hated that
gross.
actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I put that on the list.
Yeah, or like I hated that he didn't have like proper bed sheets or like a cover. Like what the
Yes.
heck? Who sleeps
Mhm.
like that? You know?
Yep. Yeah. Any little thing that annoyed you and that you maybe didn't let yourself dwell on when you were feeling the, new relationship
Yeah.
energy, if you start to let your mind go to that place, more things will come up. And before
Mhm.
long, you'll say, yeah, obviously we broke up. Look at all these, things that
Yeah.
they did, or look at these fights that we had through the years.
Mhm.
I deserve better.
Yeah, exactly. And, like what we're saying is don't get stuck in the shoulds. Don't get stuck in the I need to be 100% thinking about bad things. I need
Yep.
to not
Yep.
be thinking about good things. If I'm thinking about good things, it must mean that we shouldn't have broken up. It's
Yeah.
like, no, there are shades of gray. You can have both good experiences with someone and know that you never want to be with them again. Like so I think it's when you have all or nothing black and white thinking and you're beating yourself up about things, that's where you have issues. And these tips are ways to make sure you're bringing yourself back into some sort of balance between the good and the bad, and having like that firm foundation in reality of what actually happened.
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, absolutely love it. This was, great tips. I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah,
So
me too.
let us know what you think of these tips, or what has helped you when you
Mhm.
have kept on thinking of the good times. And what else would you like to know about your breakup? That's what we're
Yeah.
here for.
We want to know. We want to cover these things.
Yep.
This was one of our most commonly asked questions, and our next few episodes will also be on common questions.
Mhm.
So send us those questions
Keep them
because we will
coming.
answer them.
Yes. Yep. This is proof that, what do we say? We're not too cool to read our DMs.
Exactly. We're not too cool.
We are definitely taking into account everything that people send us and everything that people ask. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Looking forward to hearing from you.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Sincerely, Janice and Claire. Thanks for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you like this episode, tag us on your Instagram story so we can connect with you.
And you can find me, Claire, on Instagram at Claire Lofthouse.
And me, Janice, on Instagram at Janice Formicella. If you'd like to join our online community, find us on Facebook at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. Talk soon.
Bye. And here's a preview of our next episode. I discovered this power after I broke up with my first ever high school boyfriend. I did it on Valentine's Day, and that was the moment when I realized that I could consciously ignore my feelings. So I think that's when it really started, because I was like, wait, you can ignore your feelings? I figured out I could squash that heartbreak down and find relief. And I remember congratulating myself on figuring out this big secret, like I had some sort of superpower that gave me an edge. Like, you can ignore your feelings. What a revelation. You can probably guess how that went long term.